Good evening and welcome to our first scheduled budget hearing of the fiscal year for 2026-2027. I'm Mayor Bianca Motley Broom. We have a quorum present with council members McKenzie, Arnold, and Karn. And so we will call the meeting to order at 6:32 p.m. and I will turn it over to our city manager, Michael Hicks, for an introduction into this next fiscal year's budget. Mr. Hicks?
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for coming. So this is our first budget hearing for our 26-27 fiscal year. And tonight we have several departments for our April 8th meeting. And again, we schedule these budget hearings based on our strategic goals. And the first goal is local economy and growth. We have several departments that fits under local economy and growth. And we also have several departments that's going to fit on the goal number 5, governance and customer service. That would be FAA, power, public information, and several other departments. So without further ado, Madam Mayor, we can get started.
Thank you, sir. All right, we will start with economic development. Good evening, Mr. Garcia, Ms. Adiogan.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Questions on page 1 of 2 of the budget worksheet. All right, so we're on page 1. Councilmember Karn, can you please turn your microphone?
All right, so under salaries, is this everybody or is this without, I'm missing economic development director, I'm assuming they're budgeted in, right?
Yes, sir. They are.
351. This is a 10% reduction. Let's see again.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Any additional questions on page 1?
Under training, let's see, it's right under line 6230, conventions and meetings. It looks like we actually only spent around 10,000.
I'm sorry, Councilmember, can you move
with
that
some,
microphone closer? I think the court reporter's still having some difficulty.
All right, is that good? Is that okay? Okay. All right, how's that? Is that better? I can just talk loud if you want me to. That sounds good. All right, okay. Just under 6230, under the bottom line at conventions and meetings, training and education. Looks like we're at $10,000 or so right now, so we're gonna increase that a bit here. We'll spend through the entire 50. Looks like if we did, what was that, 48 last year? Okay. No, I'm just looking at the training here. I just wanted to see where.
Are you on page 1?
Page 1. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said 6230?
I was just looking at 6230, but it looks about right. I mean,
Yes.
we're about
Conventions
it.
and meetings?
Yeah.
So we even that out, 38,000 each. And of course, the transaction will tell you exactly what they're spending it on.
Okay. Well, I see a total of 50 allocated for everybody for this budget, but I see the 30. Okay, no, I see the, yeah. Okay, I see the 50. I got it. All right, okay.
Any additional questions on page 1?
Yeah.
Moving on to page 2. Questions on page 1 of the budget transaction report. Got one at 526170. The contractual services aren't detailed for 75,000. There's not a breakdown of that in the budget transaction report. What's the anticipated use of that?
Hannah and Hakis?
Yeah, sure. The workings behind that is looking at our quotes that we pulled for around our local economy and growth goal, which is business attraction, business retention, redevelopment, community development. A lot of times with the contractual services, we're looking at different subject matter expertise or transportation studies or economic development impact studies. So an example of the contractual services would be when our council approved our LCI with Airtropolis for an amount of $29,000. Should that be awarded, that would come out of that contractual services line.
All right, understood. Thank you so much. Additional questions on the first page of the budget transaction? Hearing none, we'll move to page number 2.
You okay? Councilwoman Nancy?
Just a
You okay?
overview, overall question. Did we by any chance include any, I know that Main Street has its own budget.
Yes.
Okay. Did we consider Old National Merchants Association in this bucket for economic development?
No, we did not. So I think that might be worthy of a discussion. But we
Yeah.
did not include them in this budget.
Funding.
Can you
Right.
make sure your mic is on?
My mic is on.
No, I was talking to
You're
Councilmember Carl.
talking
My
about
apologies.
His mic is
the
on.
funding that we gave them last year.
Right, right.
Where would that sit?
That was in Main Street's facade grant.
No, it was not.
Oh, was it?
No, it was not. Main Street facade grants were specifically for Main Street. I mentioned this last year during the budget hearings that we needed to have a separate budget section for the Old National, you remember Ginger, right? For the Old National Godby Road merchants. And so if we can add something here for them, that would definitely be helpful.
So paint us a picture of what that would look like and what would that include?
Well, this past year, it was a $50,000 give. And so, and Mr. Rainey came, Monday night and
Yeah.
talked about how they utilize those funds for the businesses on the Old National Godby corridor.
Sure.
Yeah.
That wasn't community.
So question, do we think that the city of South Fulton has added some
Well-
funding into their budget for ONMA?
Well, let me say this. I utilize community enhancement dollars for the businesses of the
Okay.
Old National Agape corridor
Okay.
to support the businesses because we did not include them in the budget, right? So that's where those dollars went last year.
Okay.
But I also mentioned that we needed to be inclusive of all of our businesses for the city, to include funding for facade grants and beautification
Okay.
grants holistically,
Sure.
right? So,
Okay, so we're gonna make the note
okay,
here.
okay, thank you.
So to that point, Councilman Berner, I was actually going to piggyback on that of just sort of looking at a broad range facade grant citywide, and then perhaps making that, drilling down on that later, but whatever that looks like, we want to make sure that everyone is covered.
Sure.
Yeah, I was about to speak. I'd like to request when we get to that we just double the number that we have right now, because I don't want to lose any of the money that's coming to Main Street. But when I saw the presentation and see what they're doing on Old National, they need that money as well. So we have 150,000 allocated, and I guess we'll talk about that, but I'd like to see another 150. I think it would only be fair to give Old National the same amount of money that we're giving to Main Street.
Okay.
And
Well-
we can talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I think I'm okay for talking about the 50K.
Well, I was gonna say, the 150 may be a bit much.
Yes, ma'am.
Right,
Yeah.
this was the first year that we ever, added them or had them included in,
Right.
any type of facade grants and participating in any form, shape, or fashion.
Sure.
We heard from Mr. Rainey that they spent 65, right? But I think that from a budget perspective, we should be inclusive of those businesses.
Yes, ma'am, we
as well.
will.
Okay.
But keep in mind that we have to make some tremendous budget cuts.
Understood,
And I want to be conscious about
Okay.
what we're putting back in the budget.
And Ms. Hammond, we got a balanced budget right now. That's what you gave us, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so anything we add, last time we kind of,
Understood.
Understood.
But at the same token, we still cannot forget that these businesses are also driving revenue with tax dollars into the city.
Amen.
So-
Say amen to that.
Additional questions on page 2 of the transaction report. Moving on to the org chart. Questions? Any questions on the supporting documentation before we move on to Main Street? All right, page 1 of Main, I'm sorry, Mr. Hicks?
I'm sorry, economic development, if you guys have finished Main Street, which will be Ginger. Hannah or Hikes, which one are you guys gonna stay with Ginger? Okay.
Councilmember, we're on page 1 of Main Street. And questions on page 1?
Yes, I have a question. Line 526170, contractual services. I guess this question is for the city manager. I see that the department head requested 56,000 for 2027, but your recommendation is 86, and since we're looking at cutting dollars so we can put it somewhere else, is there a reason why we're looking at more than what Ginger asked for?
Yes, ma'am. Let's go look at the transactions on it. And
Okay.
we'll tell you exactly.
Okay, all right, okay.
526170. If you look under the contractual services, Councilwoman McKenzie, I'll wait
Okay.
till you get there.
Okay, when we get there, I'll hold up.
Well, I mean, we can,
Yeah, we-
I do have questions about those contractual services if we're diving in, because,
Okay, so Councilwoman McKenzie, is it okay for us to go ahead?
Yes.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
look at the
So
contractual
let's
services.
proceed, okay.
And Ginger and Hotkeys, I'll let you guys describe what we have here.
Okay, well, for the contractual service, the contractual services, this is the breakdown for the $86,000, which is basically the alarm system for the depot, the extermination for the depot, holiday Christmas decorations for the light up, Main Street administrative services, Main Street light maintenance and repairs. That's the floodlights that line up on Main Street with the trees. The ornament lighting, that's also for the trees as well. And Russell Landscaping, those are my contractual services. And Russell Landscaping is the 35 pots that line up on Main Street and go down Howells Lane.
Okay.
Okay, the administrative, the 46, I guess that's half of it there. So what is that exactly?
That's for my part-time help.
Okay,
The young lady you normally see with Ginger.
okay. That's Tasha?
Tasha Bayfield, yeah.
So what is that, what is that contract being paid now?
She gets $2,000 a month.
So we're taking her from 2,000 to 48,000 to 4,000 a month?
That's what's looking like.
Right.
So, Ginger, I think when you and I went over the budget, there was some additional administrative services that we talked about, besides Tasha. Remember what those were, on the administrative services?
Well, could someone get back to us and kind of let us know what that is,
Okay.
because that's $24,000. I'm just looking at within this particular budget, how we can carve out the 50,000 for the facade.
Oh, national.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since my colleague said that she will settle for 50, I was about to fight, but I'm gonna leave it. I'm switched.
All right, cool. Okay.
so back to page 1 of the budget worksheet. Additional questions on page 1. And moving on to page 2.
Okay, so the facade program is here that's the 150.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, so the idea is just kind of split that around the city, or, I'm sorry, this is for this
Main
is
and
just for
Virginia.
Main Street?
Main and
Main and
Virginia.
Virginia, okay, got it. All right.
And I do have a question. So Ginger, I noticed that the actual number is low, but you do have applications. We have some that are going to be
Yes.
filled.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
so
I
we're-
have 13 applications out right now that's due in by April 24th.
Right, and so that'll come out to 130,000.
It should, we're getting close.
Okay, I just
Yes.
wanted to clarify that,
Yes.
even though that number, the actual amount looks low, I know that you already have the applications out, and we will be spending
Yes.
that 150,000.
Yes.
Okay,
Absolutely.
thank you, love.
And overall, looks like you're 16% leaner, is that right? 13%?
Right.
Yes, looks like
That's correct.
16%. Okay. All right.
Any additional, we're moving on past page 2, because that's just postage and stationery, supplies and all that, into the budget transaction report. Questions on page 1 of 2. Moving on to page 2 of 2. Any questions on the supporting documentation?
Ginger, just anything you're seeing out there that we might need to be aware of coming into the summer, just briefly?
Well, I do have this one thing, but I know it's the pots on Main Street. We have the World Cup coming up. And, it's hard to get buildings and ground to get out there and water those pots on a consistent basis to keep them nice. So I asked Russell Landscaping to give me a quote on how much it would cost to keep those flower pots watered, because sometimes in the summertime it's no rain and the flowers will dry up, and we're trying to keep it nice throughout the summer. And they gave me a quote of $3,600 a month to water the flowers, which would be twice a week. Okay, and so I added that up times 12, that's $43,200. I didn't bother to mention it because it's $43,200, but that's something that either I would have to have buildings and ground water them when they have time, when they're not being pulled away with another job, or have buildings and ground do it. So that's going to be an issue.
May I make a suggestion, Mr. Hicks?
Yes, ma'am. We talked about trying to engage Public Works to help.
I was going to see, if that could be an internal staff conversation, and perhaps we revisit it towards the end of the budget session to see if we can find an internal resolution before we.
Right.
I would love that.
And so, Ginger, remember we had this conversation about engaging Public Works, and you said according to their schedule, it was hard to get them out there to water those on a frequent basis. That's why she went with a separate company.
Well, Ginger, it's part of the job. We hire good people, we pay them good money, and we want to make sure they fit the important stuff in their schedule. So, I mean, we shouldn't have to, we're not going to farm out everything. I mean, that's what we got during their 500 staff members for. So maybe it was a problem in the past, but Michael Hicks is here, so.
I have a suggestion,
Take care of it.
and you and I can talk more about it, but we have loads of gardeners in Ward 1.
Okay,
And I'm working on an initiative to get some of those gardeners involved.
okay.
And so perhaps we can set that for our Community Champions program to get some volunteers
Okay.
that come out, that love gardening,
Okay.
and maintain it. So let's look at some solutions that we can find that won't cost money or incur any additional responsibilities on our
love that.
staff.
With some
So
incentives.
you and I have been working together on a bunch of stuff, so let's just add that on to the table.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Can I
Yes,
add
ma'am.
one additional thing too? And I know that you, Mr. Hicks, are working on operational efficiencies.
Absolutely.
It's a strong possibility that we need to look at how we are scheduling time to service every area. And so maybe that will also help.
Right.
Because when it gets hot this summer, we may get volunteers out, but we may need to be more frequent, right,
Right.
on the watering.
Right.
I would like to say too, it's hard to get volunteers, and I've been trying to get volunteers for a long time. They say they will show up, they'll come, but then when time comes, they don't show, so we need some type of incentive.
Let's work on that.
Yeah,
For
we
less
need some
than
type of
43.
incentive. Less than 43,000.
For less than 43,000, we might be able to get a volunteer
Some incentives.
coordinator that is paid and make sure that that's scheduled, but it'll be way less than that amount of money.
Okay, all right,
Cause, yeah, I'll work on it.
all right.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, sir?
And same thing you said.
Back to you.
Oh, all right. Well, I think that covers Main Street. If anyone has any additional questions, if anyone doesn't have any additional questions. Thank you, Ginger.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for everything.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
We're on to BIDA.
Madam.
Madam Chair. How you doing? I feel like I just saw you the other day.
You did.
Madam Chair, how are you?
Questions on page 1?
Yes. Okay. Of course, I have concerns because in our budget last year, we thought we were going to, for this year, we thought we were going to do $10 million in land sales, and it's looking at zero. So just kind of want to know, how is things looking for BIDA for closing on some of these deals this year?
We just closed on one a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, so it's not reflected in here?
It's not reflected, no, not
Okay.
yet.
Okay.
And then we had another one in December, but we hadn't closed on the, that's right. We hadn't
Okay.
closed on PMG yet.
Okay. The last thing that I had was line 526230, which is the last line.
Okay.
Conventions, meetings. And of course, when we get into the transaction report, I'll have some more questions on that. But I know that we had allocated some funds. We didn't use the money that was allocated for the BIDA Awards reception.
Correct.
And so apparently we still have some funding left
Yes,
for
all we
that.
used was 7,000.
So I did want us to talk about making sure that we do get those funds to our business community before the end of this fiscal year.
And that's what we're working on too.
Okay.
We talked about it a couple of months ago.
And I just said I mentioned it, I think, at the council meeting, but I said I needed to bring that up to you again, that it's really vital right now, especially with the World Cup. This is a way that we can infuse some of our businesses, and I'd hate to see money left on the table.
And I spoke to Ginger today, and we're going to be speaking with the College Main Street.
Okay, all right,
Cool.
thank you. But thank you for all your work,
Can you
Thank you.
also reach out to,
Emmanuel.
yes,
And
Emmanuel
that was
Rain?
the other thing.
Okay.
We wanted to make sure that we get, it's inclusive.
Yeah, if you can reach out to Mr. Rainey for Old National Merchants
We'll do
Association.
that.
Yes.
Because they had, okay, I was gonna say, they exceeded the amount that we allocated for them for their facade grant.
Okay.
I think, what did he say, 61?
65.
65, and we only gave them 50.
Oh, wow, okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I got a few Camp Creek stores that could use a little spit and polish as well.
Well, that was one of the things. I just wanted to definitely make sure that it was not just, one area. I wanted to make sure that it spread out, that other businesses, even with the Christmas, we
Yeah.
first time nominated a business that was on Camp Creek, so we definitely want to be inclusive.
Yeah, I don't have that much of a business corridor, because the other side of Godby doesn't have, really businesses to speak of, but I've got a few on Camp Creek.
That's why I
Councilmember,
wanted to
yeah.
make sure.
I've got a few on Camp Creek there. So we do have that money left over. Ms. Hammond, about how much is that? I want to make sure we have it, so that we know we got it left over. The leftover from the BIDA.
526230.
Yeah,
So is that what you're referring to?
yeah. I ain't got but one plaza. Yeah,
Okay.
10 stores.
Are you referring to what's left out of 526230 conventions and meetings?
I guess
Is that what you're referring to,
that's
the
what-
balance?
That's where it was.
Yeah,
Right.
we still have the 39,000 balance.
Okay.
So
Okay,
Mr. Hicks, we
okay.
want to make a
Alright.
friendly amendment to that, to it be inclusive of Camp Creek as well. So we probably need to bump that number up from 50 to 65.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, ladies. I really appreciate it.
Please, right.
We bumped it up to 65. If you look at the,
Oh, okay,
what's
okay,
recommended for me is 65.
okay, thank you.
Okay.
Additional questions on page 1? Moving on to page 2.
Line 525450. I know that there was discussion in the BIDA meeting on last night about attorneys' fees.
Correct.
Not the BIDA attorney fees, but I'm looking at other legal fees in that line. $448,705 have been expended in 2026, but we are only looking at $50,000 for 2027. Is that realistic?
Yes, because it was
Pull the mic.
it was the legal fees that we had for like different types of situations with litigation and different things like that. So this new year, we're only accounting for legal fees that we'll have for maybe like bond lawyers and et cetera type of situations like that.
That included the judgment, right?
Yes,
That's why.
that was bumped up.
the judgment.
That's included the judgment.
No, I just wanted to make sure that we would think that 50,000 was gonna be, you know,
Sufficient.
within sufficient. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Just questions.
Additional questions on page 2? I have 52, 65, 90. Ms. Hammond, I think that's probably got 0 for contingencies, and it's bumped to 4.5 million for the 27 budget. Can you shed some light on that?
I think this number was actually a number that we used to actually balance the budget.
Okay.
Revenues
Speak towards the
exceed
mic.
revenues exceed
sorry.
expenses, and that's the balance number.
Yes.
Understood.
All right.
Understood, thank you.
All right.
Smart.
Any additional questions on page 2?
Should've kept that quiet. Thought it was a typo.
Moving on to page 3. Moving to the budget transaction report. Questions on page 1? Page 2?
So Madam Chair, gonna sell some land this year?
We don't say that's money.
All right,
We're looking for.
all right, okay, all right.
Page 3.
Page 3, contractual services, executive director compensation.
So BIDA just approved for an executive director, and they would come out of that line item.
But the amount that I heard was more than 75,000,
We
right?
just talked about that last evening.
Right.
So I think it's between 90,000 and 120.
120.
Right,
Right. Originally, when we did the budget, they said about 75, because that's what we put in there. Then
Gotcha.
last night, they changed it. I think to 125, I believe.
Was 120.
Was it 90,000 to 120?
Yes.
Now, I do have a question
Okay.
about that amount. Our executive director that's coming in for economic development director has traditionally handled then the executive director of BIDA and the economic development. This is for everybody, and I'm just want to understand this. When former Councilman Wyatt mentioned 70,000 last night, it made sense to me because I'm thinking this is a part-time position.
Right.
How much? Now, a full-time, it's how do we pay a part-time person 95 to 100,000 when you're going to bring a full-time economic development director on for 120? I think we need to revisit this, Mr.
Well, right.
Higgs. We
Right,
need
that
to look
we're
at
not
what the.
sure exactly, we're still working on
Yeah,
that.
but I mean, while we're looking at our budget and the fact that this 75,000 represents a balanced budget, is this, I think that the job description is going to be really important here.
We do have that.
Okay, and again, how many hours? We've had one person share this, and I'm just looking out for the finances of this city as a fiscal steward. We've had one person to handle both of these things. I understand by the feeling that they want to have someone of their own. But now we're going from, and then I guess if this person is salaried, we have the whole benefit package that goes with that as well. So we're going from maybe $150,000 a year, including, you're shaking your head. Were you shaking your head with what I was saying, or? Okay. So, I think that's something we just need to look over. Meaning, what are the response? Is this a full-time position? Is it a part-time position? And BIDA needs to sell some land.
We definitely selling land, but we plan on selling more. But on last evening, we spoke about getting with the city manager, and we're gonna try to work out everything with the.
I mean, if it's part-time, I think 75,000 is fine. If it's full-time, then we need to justify the need for BIDA to have a full-time executive director.
Well, I certainly put in the minutes, if you go back and look in the minutes, I asked BIDA how they were going to subsidize this salary. And I said that they need to start selling some land to help pay for that.
You can pay 200,000 as long as y'all sell some land.
We don't sell some land.
Could it be contractual? I mean, because.
I was speaking out to the BIDA attorney. We was thinking it might be contractual, so that we don't have to worry about those
I think that might be
benefit packages.
I mean, in regards of whatever the salary is, but contract. I mean, you meet once a month. I mean, putting them on the full health bill. I think contractually might make a little more wiggle room in you.
And Madam Chair, you and I had talked about contractual services for this particular position.
It might be
because our economic development person is going to be full-time.
Right.
And BIDA doesn't meet frequently.
Right.
So let's entertain that.
Okay. More of a contractual executive director. Okay, thank you.
Additional questions?
Yes. Items.
You turned off your microphone.
Oh, shucks. Okay. I was trying to be obedient to James Hammond and not move my mic. Anyway, long story. 58. Well, let's just look at 6230s. All the 6230s that are there, conventions and meetings. I guess what I was just concerned about is maybe we can do it. The local conferences, Hannah, is $10,000 what we spent last year?
So we spent about $7,000 and some change for the BIDA conference. We did not go to the SMDO conference, but yeah, we spent about $7,000 and some change for BIDA.
Okay, so you're thinking that 3,000 if you do the SDMO, that'll be reasonable?
Yeah. Well, I've never done SMDO, but I think that we can make it work.
Okay. That was
For sure.
okay.
Conference.
Well, actually, BIDA has more than just
they do.
the Savannah. When I was the chair of BIDA, I attended several meetings that we had to pay for through BIDA, and I really think that it would be beneficial for BIDA members, especially the chair and the leadership, to be able to attend those types of meetings. So, just looking at the board becoming more progressive, more independent, but yet interdependent. That we want to make sure that you get in the training and even making those connections, because the connections that the board members make at those meetings are also going to assist us in building College Park better.
Okay, yes, please.
So, Councilwoman McKenzie just mentioned something that I was thinking in reference to, I don't see anything for training. Is there not any mandatory training for BIDA?
Usually for new members, they have training.
Yeah, not currently, but there is training that happens during the retreat. So we do have like the retreat line item there, but we could definitely put professional development in there if you all.
Yeah, you all have.
What are your thoughts around?
Yeah, I would like again, without sounding redundant, when BIDA starts to sell some land, we can add some more.
Understood.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do think that they should have professional development for all of the BIDA board members. But I'd like for that funding to come from some other source.
Understood.
Okay, but specifically, we need to be behind the 8 ball. We have a new BIDA member who needs to go to Athens or somewhere and get that development authority training. And then there is the level 2 training as well. And I think this is important. because BIDA members are citizens, but you're making decisions, as you know, Sabrina, because you've been with BIDA for years. They're making decisions, they're being faced with issues, and I think that, and I know that their training is going to help. I really am concerned about the board, and I think that going through those trainings, especially at UGA, Carl Vinson Institute, if you haven't been through it, then everybody needs to get that, or then start taking the advanced training. It's not very expensive, but it will cost about $800 a member to go, and if you stay overnight, maybe we'll be spending $1,000.
Is there an opportunity to sort of tack that on at the end, and so we can get a little bit more precision?
Cynthia's gonna make some notes.
Great.
So the more y'all sell, the more you're gonna
I'm not
get.
trying to increase the budget, but of course, we definitely want to have people that are on BIDA that have all of the tools that they need to successfully sell land and to help us move the city forward.
Oh, training is absolutely important for the BIDA board. I'm concerned as well.
And I knew our board member, he's hit,
And I usually, I don't normally believe in quotas, but with you all, I'll make an exception.
Yeah.
But we certainly have enough to send the new BIDA members to Carl Vinson Institute of Government to get some training.
You just have one.
just one.
Just one,
And he's definitely,
Yeah, he would love that.
He would benefit from that.
Additional questions on the budget transaction report? Any page of that? Question on the org chart or the supporting documentation?
Apologies, I do have another question. I see that we
Where are
pay-
you? What page?
I'm on page 3 or 4.
All right.
And I'm looking at the membership for the Metro Atlanta Chamber. Is that the only chamber that we're paying for?
Currently, yeah. That's just the Metro Atlanta Chamber. That's the one that I've received since starting here. If there's other membership,
Should be the Atlanta
Right.
Airport Chamber.
Have you,
Oh,
who's attended that? I was just curious. I want to make sure that someone
Right, we're not
attended it
paying
last
for
time.
something that we're not
Did someone
utilizing.
attend that last time?
yeah, I attend the quarterly like board meetings. I think we
Atlanta
have another
Metro
one.
Chamber?
Yeah, we have another one.
Well, we definitely, I mean, we'd be
The
wrong
airport
to do
chamber?
the South, not do the South Fulton Chamber, Diane
South
Matthews,
Fulton Chamber.
the Airport Chamber,
Right.
Carmelita Scott.
thank you, because we definitely
Oh.
want to be
Make
a
sure we
part of
cover
making
them.
sure that our
Right,
board members
Yeah.
have an
Yes.
opportunity.
Yeah, we've been members of
them
theirs for years.
My apologies. I'm at the Airport Chamber with Carmelita Scott. That's the
Okay,
one that I
okay, so you
attended.
had, no one's done the Atlanta area, Metro Chamber?
Yeah, I have to double check because I think those meetings are on our calendar. But I'll double check that and get back to you.
We just want to make sure we share that board members so that all of
So
them.
we can certainly look at increasing the 850 to include
Yes.
the other chambers that you spoke about.
Will do.
I do have one more question. Maybe I missed it. I don't know if it's clumped on the miscellaneous, which is a line on page 2 of 4, under 6130. Does that include the BIDA stipends? Because I don't, unless I missed it, but I know that's $150 a month stipend for 7 people. So is that, where are we putting
That
that?
one on here.
Where's that in the budget?
That usually comes out of convention/meetings, but it's not one of the line items. I can.
Okay, so it
Put
will
that
come
back
out
on
of
here.
convention. Let me look at that number again.
And it's not a specific line item in 526230.
Is it,
Yeah, so
Is
that's,
it under
where's it coming
meetings?
from? Is it out of the 6230 lines on page 3 or 4, and I've kind of looked at that. The BIDA awards is 20,000. BIDA meetings, 2,500, that 2,500 per meeting, is that including a stipend of 150 per member? Or is that just the food and the AV?
Yeah, that's the food, the AV, and the stenographer.
yeah, we have to pay them their
So
stipends.
I don't see it.
We're paying them out of some line.
So, Hannah and Madam Chair, the actual stipends Where did you put that in this budget?
So last year we took it from convention/meetings, so I'll go back and put that back in.
I mean, it's not in
Apologies,
there.
yeah.
Okay.
It should be in convention/meetings.
So it's a reduction.
All right, I'll make sure
No,
y'all
it's a-
get yours.
Thank you.
Less this year or the same?
No, it's gonna be added too. So we're saying, right, so you're saying that it's 150 a
150 a person, is that
So
right, Madam
times
Chair?
that,
Times 11 meetings.
times 11?
11.
Yeah.
You can do it by 6. You don't have to budget for me.
Oh, yeah.
I never take it.
The mayor does not take
So,
the stipend.
but we still setting the
stipend,
budget.
put it in there.
and Which is
Yeah.
$11,550.
11,000, how much?
11,550.
You don't have to budget for me. I will not take it.
Now, the 12th month doesn't count as a meeting, is that right?
No, it's the BIDA awards.
Okay.
I would still include all
It's
7 members
inclusive.
because there can always be something
got it.
else.
It's in there.
We got the total.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the budget transaction report? Questions on the supporting documentation? Moving on to the TAD. Any questions on the TAD?
So, Madam Mayor and Council, of course, Phil Latano is not here, and we can have him available via phone, and of course Cynthia's here if you have any questions on the tag. He's already online? Okay.
Any questions on the TAD? All righty. Thank you, Madam Chair. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And we're on to the FAA.
I think FAA. Yeah. So actually, of course, if we can have them to come on in.
Usually have that box of rulers and everything.
Right, right.
Hi, Mr. Wilkinson. How are you?
Good evening, everybody.
My stash is still here. This one, for years, I just got. You know you've been here too long, you know where all the stuff is. Stash.
Yeah, Councilwoman Arnold, if you don't mind, I'd like to have one too. No water? William Scott, how you doing? No, no water, I guess. No.
William Scott. How's life over at the penthouse?
You ever been? Oh, yeah. Cynthia, would you like some water? Here, take it. At the next meeting, we'll make sure we outfit the table with water. We'll make sure. I think we're okay. Yeah, I think. Oh, no, please.
All righty. Page 1 of the FAA. Any questions? Oh, Council member.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
So overall, we're looking okay. Any sudden repairs that may be coming up?
Well, everything's going fine. We've got some things we're gonna talk about today that we need to talk about.
Thank you.
Sorry. But all in all, not bad. The GSA construction project. It's not on?
There we go.
The FAA construction project, or GSA, FAA, is going well. I was in an executive meeting last week with the people from the regional office, and they said that, just for your information, they're gonna spend $11.5 million, but it all has to be spent by September the 30th. And that's it. They're taking the money away. So GSA's got their task, and they've got to get in there and get it done. And right now they're fussing. GSA and FAA, they're fussing a little bit.
These are going to be.
I don't get involved in that.
Renovations and upgrades?
Yeah, they're going to do, some upgrades. They're going to get, they're got to put, the problem, what's going on, just for everybody's information, is that a couple of years ago, maybe longer than that, the system furniture was found to be faulty. There's electrical problem in the system furniture. It had to be replaced. It wasn't a negotiable thing. It has to be replaced. So they've already bought it. Now they're trying to coordinate it where they can get it in, and it's a huge coordination. I understand what they're up against, and I have to watch them carefully because they can't put all these boxes in the middle of the room because our sprinklers can't adapt to it. You know, it's just too much. So you got to stay with them and stay on them about it. But I think they're going to get it done. I think it's going to be really nice when it's all done. But that's the reason they're really doing it, is security more than anything. Somebody don't get hurt.
All right.
So we'll actually just take both of these pages for the budget worksheet. Questions on either page of the budget worksheet?
Fees
So we've got elevator modernization in there for this upcoming fiscal year,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and that's line 547640?
Yeah. And I'd
y'all
like
have
to talk about
approved.
that if we
That's
can.
the
But that'd be all
2.3.
right.
That's the 2.3 million. Right?
I'm saying what y'all have approved.
What is it?
What y'all have approved.
Yeah, the elevator, yes. We need it done desperately because, to be really honest about it, GSA is really running on fumes. They don't know that. The system is 33 years old. We have parts, but all the parts that I bought years ago are gone. So what we had to do, or what I had to do is, I'm making a person go with them when they take the furniture up on the 5th floor, 3rd floor, 2nd floor, and we're literally keying the elevator off, the freight elevator, which what that means, it's coming off the fire system for that time, and they can move their furniture in and out without banging it up. But you have to be careful with it. And so they all understand it. They hate me for doing it, but that's just what it is. And that's the only way they're going to survive and get it done. But see, I'm making them put somebody there at attention where they don't do this damage. And then if the fire alarm goes off, they can go in there and unkey it, and it'll go back into the system. And that's where we bring the handicapped people up and down and that kind of thing. So
Ron squirreled away surplus elevator parts some years ago.
Yeah, I really
because They
did.
were just going to go higher and higher in there.
yeah, I really
So,
did.
so you burned through all of that.
Yeah,
Guess that
absolutely.
came in handy.
But I'll be honest about it, I'm really proud of the fact that all major equipment, I try to do that, have for years and years and years. That's how you keep your costs down and you keep your equipment running good. And I do a bang-up preventative maintenance. You have to do it. If you don't, you're just kidding yourself.
Okay, with the capital improvement, so what's the occupancy forecast coming for the rest of this year?
Well, it's going to be, I mean, it's going to get up there. I really don't have any real say in that, except to say that they're going to get back after all this is done, this work. They're sending a lot of people home working until this all gets straightened around and people get moved in. We're going to be in the 90 to 100 range. But I wanted to tell you something that I think is really important. In the Capitol, I have $1,500,000 for painting. So let me explain something. Last year, we put in $2.8 million.
Ron, what number is that on the budget sheet?
Expenses.
I don't see capital improvement of 1.5.
I saw it.
Where?
It's, it's in there.
So do we want to wait
Oh, there it
until
is.
we
Oh,
get
okay.
to those sheets, Madam Mayor? And we want to go
That-
back and start on page 1 of 1?
No, I mean, that one was, sorry, I missed it on one page and another.
Sorry.
But, okay, so the paint's in there. But any other questions on the budget transaction report?
100% sounds good. So the 11 million, how long is that gonna take to spend to make the improvements?
Well, it's only got till now until September, the end of September, and then that's when GSA cuts it off. I mean, they've already made that pretty clear. GSA is going to cut it off. What I wanted to explain about the painting, and I think it's very important, we had $2.8 million in it this year, but we couldn't do both projects. GSA's in the building. We can't work together like that. So when they get out of there in September, October at the latest, what I propose is that to go in and just do the common area. The common area. We could save about $1.2 million if we did that. Now, GSA has to buy into it, but I think that I'm pretty good at it. I think that I can, I say we go ahead and do it and have it ready. I think they'll go for it. I really do. If I didn't have that feeling, I wouldn't even recommend it. But it's no sense of doing those big areas after they've already spent all this money to put that furniture up. Then we take it off the walls and paint. That don't make any sense to me. But if we go in and just do the common area, that includes all the bathrooms, the hallways, the auditorium that you guys was in, the kitchen, all the stuff that people use during the day. I think they would be all right with that.
Would a letter from us help or something? I mean,
What is it?
if would a letter from the city help?
I don't think so. I wouldn't make a big deal of it. It's
Okay.
what I'm saying. Just have trust in me, and I'm going to go ahead and if you approve it, I'll get it done and let them come back to us and say, hey, how come we're not doing this? And we can talk about that. But the good news is we can save about $1.2 million. And also, in my opinion, I think that's going to be the last major thing we're going to have to do interior of the building until the 8th year. I think we can get by. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just knocking on wood. I'm sorry when you said that.
Yeah. And I think that'll be it. And now, don't misunderstand, there's still equipment concerns we have because a lot of that equipment's 33 years old and so on and so forth. But I think that'll be it. I think we do that and take care of it, maintain it. I think we'll just go right into the end of the lease. I really do. So it really boils down to you. I'm asking you for your trust to put that into me. I can't guarantee it. They may say, Ron, that's crazy in heck, but I think I can. I think I can get in there and do that. And I think they'll all be happy about it and we'll have a good looking building.
All right.
So
I'm
with
sorry.
with that 1.5 million, would it be bidded out? How does that look?
Okay, what we'll have to do is, we have a company called Leapley Construction that does a lot of our work. And the bidding process, just for you understand, it's not like what you guys are used to, because you have to have a security clearance from FAA and GSA, and it takes 4 months. And the problem is your whole timing, everything could go away. Leapley, if they do it, they're going to bond the deal. We've done a lot. They're doing the GSA deal. Their numbers are good. They have to be good because we monitor them. LCK monitors, and they do over $1 billion a year. So we're watching them. We put our thumb on them. But the reality is, we just can't go out and get XY painter to come out and do it because, number one, if we don't award him, let's say we wait until he gets cleared, and then 4 months go by and he doesn't get cleared. And 3 out of 10 is the only ones getting cleared. So we don't want to get caught up. I know what your rules are, I know what your purchasing procedures are, but you got to face the facts. And the facts are is you can't do it that way.
So, Councilwoman Marner, so Ron and I have had lengthy discussions
Yes.
about this.
Yes.
And we are going to bring them back to our purchasing policy. We are. We're going to get there. I understand what Ron said. You got to be certified. It takes X amount of minutes. But we may have John and Bill over there for 10 years, the same contractors. So we're going to start bidding that in the future. So we're going to line it up with our purchasing policy.
Understood. I mean, I understand Ron's point as far as the security is concerned, but who's to say that there aren't companies already out
That's
there that have passed the security that could bid?
I'm not trying to put water on what you just said, but the problem is with the GSA and the FAA, there's 2 entities now that we have to combat. And they all got different rules. And they can't, even if they go in, they can't go on the property until they have that clearance.
Understood.
And most people don't get it. I mean, it's very difficult to get.
Understood.
And so the problem is your timing. The budget year could go away by the time you get your numbers together. That's what I'm trying to get at.
No, I understand.
And believe me, when I first started out, that's what we did. I mean, we were proud of it. But we manage about 4 or 5 million square feet. Our company does, a government. We manage 40 million. But that's the problem throughout. And GSA knows it. But I'll tell you what I will do. I'll give my very best to get somebody to come in and compare it. I will do that. I promise you I'll do that. But I just wanted you to know what we're up against. You know, I don't set those rules. I have to comply to those rules. And all the contractors have to too. So that's where you're at. And on a project like that painting, you're probably going to need about, they're going to be working, they're probably going to be needing about 15 to 20 people. And so all of those have to be badged. And so you see what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
And I'm not trying to sit here and cry because that's not what this is.
No, I get it.
I just want you to understand what.
Well, I'm going to do a yeoman's job in looking at some of these projects down the road and make sure they line up with our purchasing. So you and I, we've had that discussion.
Yeah, that's fine with me. It's fine with me.
All righty. Additional questions on the transaction report. There are 4 pages of that. Questions on the supporting documentation? All right, hearing none. Thank you, Mr. Wilkinson.
Okay.
Appreciate your time.
All right, thank you all very much.
Next up,
Uh-huh.
electric. It's electric.
It's all yours, Hugh.
You gotta stay near mine. I'll stay
No,
near
I'm
yours.
not going. Good luck to you, my friend.
Okay, thank you.
How are you, Mr. Richardson?
Good.
Good. Questions on page 1?
You still selling any surplus at all, or is that thing was bad?
The surplus is being taken by the data center.
Okay. What about that outfit down on, was that the Grand Smart and the at-home, still got those?
We still serve the at-home down in Stockbridge. Yeah, we serve also, FedEx Ground and Ellenwood. So we serve two large power loads out of the city.
Any predictions, changes with the summer rates, anything, fluctuating with all the stuff that's been going on? Or
Rates are going to be good.
Questions on page 2?
The Moody's thing, how's that looking out there at the warehouse? Is that still happening?
It's, I think it's still going, but it seems to be a little slow. I think they're actually moving stuff in now, but it's been a slow project.
We were talking about if, I'm sorry, that's public works.
Okay.
Public Works Day.
Page 3?
Polls ever come in?
Are you probably asking about the lights? No, we got 130 coming in around the end of the month, and we're going to hit the ground running when they do.
All right. We were talking about public works coming over there.
I think we were looking at, building new offices for both of us. We haven't really pursued that anymore.
The acreage, is it there?
Where at?
I thought it in and around, somewhere around the warehouse out there, but,
No, it's not there now. Where Moody's is building was where we're going to put our office. That was planned back in I think around 2007. It's out of the city. That's pretty far out.
yeah, it's a little ways.
Page 4? Line 54, 7590.
I'm sorry, I had a question on page 3.
My apologies.
I think it's contractual services that I'm looking at.
Got two of them there.
I guess we'll see the details
Yeah.
in just a few minutes.
That's a big one.
But what is the citywide events?
Those are mainly our events we have for the fire department, which includes Public Power Week.
Okay, thank you.
I saw
Any other
something
questions
with
on
the,
page 3?
The truck day coming up, right?
Yeah, we'll be ready for that too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Any other questions on page 3? All right, page 4. Mr. Richardson, on the replacement of the vehicles, line 54, 7590. Looks like we're pretty far over budget there.
You have to look at the budget performance report. There was a credit made in the encumbrance line that's not showing up on this.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why.
All right.
What happened was we bought a truck that had been ordered for 3 years, and we barely freighted it, put it in the last budget, but somehow it showed up here and it was credited out.
All right, thank you.
Hugh, I don't know where it is, but, we talked about this for a couple of years, moving your meter readers on over to your side so they could qualify for that increase from years back.
I think William Scott's going to may cover that, but I don't think we were looking at moving them. We were just going to include them.
We wanted to include
in
them. That's
within,
what I
yeah,
mean.
right.
Yeah. So that's in this budget? 'Cause
I
wanna
don't
make
know
sure
if William has it in there.
Hugh, and William, one of the meter readers came to see me last week about the increase that you're speaking about, that the power department got maybe a year or so ago.
About a year and a half.
About a year and a half ago. And so the meter readers did not get that increase. So we want to look at taking care of those three guys.
Okay.
William and Hugh, you guys can get that worked out.
Any other questions on page 4? Moving on to the budget transaction report, page 1. Moving on to page 2.
Do we need to talk about those decorative poles that's going to be placed at the Botanical Gardens? You ready to have that conversation, or you want to have a sidebar about it?
I'm doing an RFP on them, and I will bring them to you. That's all I know to do next. It's not a budget item. It could replace some expense we have in there, such as traffic signals. But that's my next step, is to do an RFP on the lights.
Now, these weren't going to be the ones that were just completely outrageous now.
I mean, that's what's being requested.
Now, what those were, what were those going to cost us compared to what you normally?
Yeah, they were
the 30 footers are normally what?
Those are about $11,000 a pole.
And your 30 footers, the normal.
3,000.
Yeah, I don't mean, we want some lighting. We want decent lighting, but I don't want us to go overboard with this stuff now. We already owe your department how much?
Lost count.
Yeah.
Page 2 of the transaction report.
What's the item for Godby Road with Georgia Power?
That's where we pay them for lights. On the east side of on the west side of Old Nashville is all Georgia Power poles.
Oh.
So to light up Godby, we got to pay them a monthly
Okay.
cost.
Okay.
We got
Thank
a couple of lights over there. They asked for one more, actually.
Okay.
In the back of the tiny homes is pretty dark. So I don't want to forget about that.
I'll look at it.
We did the one light in the front.
Right.
So, just a general question about lighting in the community. I've had a few neighbors to reach out to me about lighting over by the cemetery, over in Princeton Village. It is extremely dark. And I know that you all have put lights up, but for whatever reason, they don't seem to be illuminating the area enough.
Yeah, those decoratives don't really light up well. We really need the tall lights. Now, it could be on some of that, it's the private lighting area. But I'll look and see where else you're talking about there. We can
Okay.
try to put them up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we can talk about it offline
Okay.
then. Thank you.
Additional questions on page 2. Moving to page 3. Councilmember Arnold, there's that advanced meter contract is what's taking up most of that contractual services.
What is that?
In 2014, we entered into a contract with ECG and GE to replace all our meters. So we had a 10-year contract with them. We didn't pay anything up front. That was the good part of the contract. In fact, we didn't pay anything for 2 years up front. So we're still in that contract. We've got 1 year left, and that's the rest of it.
Okay. That's fair.
Now with the Clean Spark, I know that's going to be a big boost in terms of our total residential sales here. It looks like 8.2, right?
Right. That's back on page 1.
And Clean Spark is going to give us about that. Or they're about.
Well,
What page are you on, sir?
Well, I'm back on 1, but this is important.
To the back.
Though.
yeah, I understand. The commercial sales there, about 47% is the data center sale.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any more revenue in here for the expansion. So if they expand, and they probably will during this budget, it'll be a bonus.
This is the new Edison
Right.
Drive.
Right.
And that's very important because if we get that built, and why it's so important that we get that built is that we could get another discount to residents possibly
I got a presentation
to bring it down even lower because of having, see, a data center is a lot of times negative for most communities, but for us, it's kind of the opposite because we own our own not-for-profit utility.
The expansion though is utilizing that closed system, right? That
Yeah,
loop
with the water.
system.
Yes.
Okay.
With water, yeah.
All right,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, so it doesn't waste the thousands and hundreds of thousands of gallons, but the utility provides enough
Understood.
electric revenue equivalent to the amount of all of the residential,
Gotcha.
which means we could lower rates.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I
Already done it.
was really pushing, yeah. So,
Okay.
That's what we do.
Yeah, I like that.
so we want to keep that going down. Yeah, that's really important.
Okay.
Questions on page 4 of the budget transaction report? Moving on to page 5.
Zup Park, ball field lighting.
Okay, what we're gonna do there is, it's in our current budget, and I put it in the next budget, so we're gonna probably bring to you in May, the order of the lights. But we probably won't get them until the next budget, that's why I put it in both.
Okay.
Yeah.
And these aren't gonna be the lights where the neighbors are gonna be like, it's too light, it's light
Well,
in
it's,
my house.
well, I mean, when you have a game, it's gonna be bright. They're gonna match the same lights that we have at Barron
Barrett,
Park.
Okay.
Yeah. No, Brandon Park.
Brandon.
Brandon
Yeah,
Park.
right, okay.
And Barrett too. It's the same lights on the football field.
Okay.
Okay.
I meant to say budget.
Yeah, I know what you meant. I know what you meant.
Yeah.
All the bees.
The bees.
Any questions on the supporting documentation?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment, and I just want to give you kudos and to say thank you to your entire team. You guys do an amazing job. This is Tree City, and every time the
I
wind
haven't counted them,
blows,
but I think there's several thousand out there. So yeah.
we have trees knocking down power lines, and you
Yeah.
guys are on it, and you're so attentive, your whole team. So, I just wanted to take this time to say thank you. We really appreciate you, and thanks.
Well, I hope that we get lucky again. We won't have another tropical storm come through this year. We were lucky last year.
Well, my ward specifically, I probably ward 4 as well. We've got all these trees, and it's every time it rains, I'm like, oh!
And so you and I talked about at some point looking at some underground utilities. At some point, I do want to start to look at.
I mean, any
All the
especially any 6 West development, will they're
All the new
always be
stuff's
underground.
Yeah. You any vacancies?
Employees, not yet.
See, nobody wants to leave.
All right, that's a good sign. Good sign.
Great team.
Moving to the electric power fund. Questions on page 1?
Is there a tab for that?
What are you talking about? You mean the warehouse?
Power warehouse.
Yep, the warehouse.
Warehouse?
Okay, I didn't see that.
All right, got it.
I thought I was missing a tab.
We really could probably put the warehouse in the same pile as
In the main, yeah.
Yeah.
Have any warehouse questions, anybody?
Everything's still there?
Still there.
All right.
We got it stocked, just in case we have one of those. I won't say it.
All right. Moving on to customer service.
Thank you, Julie.
Okay.
Shoot.
Got the seat one.
You know I always talk about those gloves when I see the guys out there now. All right, make sure they got them on.
Good evening, Mr. Scott. How are you?
Good evening. Hello,
Hey,
everyone.
Mr. Scott.
Thank you, sir.
All righty. Questions on page 1, customer service.
Scott, you got any vacancies?
No, we have someone that's going to be going out for FMLA, but we already have a contractor that can fill in. So we're good.
Right, I know. Joe, you want a job?
No, just always it's good to ask, see where we at.
And for the council members who have not paid a visit to the new customer service location, I would certainly encourage you to do that.
Page 2.
I got a page one question just for Mr. Scott.
Yes, ma'am.
On page 1, 361010, that interest, I guess I'm just trying to see I guess what I'm really asking for is not that, but the Power Up program, is that included in the budget or is that separate?
That is funded purely by the citizens. It's
Okay,
a
so that's
peer-to-peer-
not in the budget.
It's a
Okay.
peer-to-peer program.
Okay, that's what when I saw restricted, I realized it's interest.
However, we have a new grants manager and some proposals coming out that looks very interesting. So that may lean towards incurring some expense, possibly very minimal. But we're just now being introduced to the proposal, so it's hopefully it's definitely going to be a win-win or positive for everyone.
Well, I'll start off with just saying we really appreciate having that program. Several of our citizens have benefited from it, and thank you for being responsive when we send a situation your way. You got a great team. Just wanted.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
So line 526170,
26170 contractual.
contractual services. It looks like you've spent, we're budgeting 75, but our actual amount 25, our actual amount 26 is exceeding that 75. What do you anticipate next year based upon our trends?
Well, the thing with the contractual services, if we're short a staff member, we automatically go out to Robert Half to get that supplemented. So we'll be short on the salary, but we'll be over on the contractual services.
All right.
And right now, it's a little distorted because we've been carrying an individual waiting for the grants department to be established, but we have about 55,000 in that really belongs to us, but it'll get worked out.
All right. Appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Any additional questions on page 2? Page 3. Moving on to the transaction report, page 1 of 4.
I do have a question on page 1 of 4, on line 525320. So pretty much, the power department is picking up the rent for the entire rent for the Princeton. Okay.
We had to assess some contingency funds from the power department to help us out.
Thank you. Okay. All right.
Any additional questions on page 1? Moving on to page 2.
Mr. Hicks, I have a general question. DocuSign just made me think about Office 365. Do we have to do membership or enterprise fees for Office 365?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, but is it going to be included in IT? Because I'm not seeing it in each department.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. All right, thank you.
Just what we call the Power 5 has to pay for the ERP, New World, and DocuSign, those things. Yeah, everything else is coming out of IT.
Power 5, huh?
Yeah, we call it
They're like,
water, sewer, power.
they're like the
Stormwater.
Jackson 5?
No.
Page 2.
Heard that before.
I do, 6220 at the bottom, Chat GPT. I'm glad to see that. Makes life a little bit easier. Seems like everybody's designing on that these days and using it. Now, is Chat GPT being used throughout the whole city?
Yes.
So each
this
department is picking up a piece of that? Is that how that works, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to pay for that.
Well,
It's enterprise wide.
yeah, but
We have Chat GPT and we have the voice piece.
so, well, my question. Thank you for that. The question.
mhm.
So, if we're doing Office 365, and we're paying that membership, which is inclusive of Copilot, are we keeping both?
Right, Copilot is for when you having meetings, it'll take notes for you, but it's not the same as the Chat GPT.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Can our computers access any of that stuff? Or?
Can your computers access? Absolutely. Yeah, we
Okay, I
getting some
didn't know that.
real life data on Chat GPT.
I didn't know we had
On the
it.
Chat GPT, you didn't know we had Chat GPT?
No, I mean, not in our office.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know we could have it on our.
Yes, Chat GPT and for the voice. We have both.
So I guess, so every department of the city has Chat GPT.
You can use it.
But does the city have like one large subscription and we're just breaking it down? Is that what's going on?
No,
So
well,
every
we-
department's paying on their own?
We do have
course.
one large subscription that
Okay.
anyone can access Chat GPT. Any staff can access it. It's about 48,000 a year, and that's
Okay.
broken out through all the departments.
That's what I wanted to know. Okay, that was my
Okay.
question. Okay, see, we were interested in that type of stuff. Okay.
And we brought it before you guys. The company's called Polymorphic. We brought it before.
So that's the
You helped.
polymorphic. Got it. No, we got it now. We got it. Okay. All right.
Moving to page 3. And doesn't look like there's too much on page 4, but if there's any questions. And any questions on the supporting documentation? That brings us to meter reading. Questions on page 1?
So this is just the three guys?
Yes, sir.
And how much do we owe them? Did you say something about?
Yeah, we talked about the 20%
They didn't get
increase that the
20%,
power guys
yeah.
got. And we talked about spreading that out with the 3 meter readers. Because they have 1 foot in customer service and 1 foot over in the power.
Understood.
Because remember, they do the water meters and they install the electric meters too.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we have a ballpark figure on how much that's gonna be, or no?
No,
We
I
just have to work it
haven't
out?
gotten with Hugh.
Okay.
And William yet.
Additional questions on page 1?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
I said additional questions on page 1.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. Moving to page 2. Moving to the budget transaction report, page 1. Moving to page 2. And if there's any questions on page 3 for meter seals or standard office supplies, now is the time to ask. Any questions on that supporting documentation? Hearing none. Mr. Scott? We thank you for your service.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Have a good evening. Thank you. Up next, public information. Good evening.
Evening.
Questions on page 1?
You still got the 3 people, or did the other one, did we add that one, or, what's her name? Janae?
She's still.
Still a contract.
Mr. Walker, can you turn on your
Okay.
microphone? Thank you.
Yeah, Janae is still a contractor for us.
So you have a total of 3, and yourself makes 4.
Well, if we count her, or
We counted her.
we counting James as well, or are we doing that?
They're down under contractual services, so
Yes.
Janae and
Yes,
James and a
that's-
few other people are under
Right.
contractual, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, they don't.
Moving,
Icon.
moving on to page 2. Questions? Just not that much on that page.
Yeah.
Moving to the budget transaction report, page 1.
Canva.
Yes.
Do we all have access to Canva?
I'm not sure that ours is citywide or user-wide. And I will say that I don't use it mainly due to the fact that Janae does what I believe to be excellent graphics beyond that. Keisha does use Canva.
Yes, she
And
does.
so I do think that they have a shared version of it. I don't know if it's been exposed to everybody in City Hall or everybody within the city, but I know that they have used one. And I think there's like a universal login that they might share. I don't know how many restrictions
Understood.
of how many people can use that.
Can we check into enterprise version? I think this was one of the ones we had on the
Canva.
list last year.
Yeah, I think, I recall this conversation.
Right, because we talked about all of the memberships and the subscriptions that we were paying and the amount of money that went into those. If we could look to see whether or not if we can get an enterprise version of Canva and then kind of control it and have access, especially for other areas of the city outside of communications.
Got it.
Jim, we're gonna make the note here too.
Okay, sure.
Okay, good.
Any additional questions on page 1?
We may find that we'll save some
We
money
would save money.
on some of the subscriptions
Constant
that,
contact as well.
that we're
on
paying
top of
for.
s-
Yeah, Constant Contact will
That's
want
another
to
one.
be
Our
one of those as well.
newsletters, just getting on the same subscription.
Yeah, do we have that? Yeah, do we have constant contact?
No, those are the ones that I'm
I pay
asking
for
for.
it out of my,
I-
I used to have that
my
at Fulton County.
budget.
Gerald, constant contact is something you'd like to add?
I don't think so.
So.
He's not
you
trying to
know,
put it on his budget.
Well-
so let me add something here. We are all independently paying for subscriptions for things like newsletters.
That's right.
When
Which
you
makes no
start
sense.
looking at some of the better practices when it comes to other cities. They have these universal accounts, or these enterprise accounts, and these newsletters are uniform based on the city. Each member has the ability to utilize those platforms to get communications out. And so if we are each paying $500-$600 a year,
$100 a month.
well, okay.
Constant contact.
Well, I'm just kind of throwing ad-libbing here a minute. Right? And you have, 6 accounts, that gets to be kind of costly, where we may be able to get an enterprise account that allows the utilization of the enterprise that ends up being a little more useful.
Well, if we get that, then everyone can drop the ones we got, and we can use the universal one, right? The enterprise.
Right.
Well, that would be the thought
That's the idea.
behind, right, that's the idea of doing it. But of course, we need to do some research in it and make sure that we can do that. And then there is someone who can actually manage and control access, right?
Yeah, I'd like to see if we could all get together and meet to see exactly what everyone is using.
That's good.
Because that way we can resolve it, to your point. If we knew exactly, like you all might have your staff doing something that we might be able to do together.
Yeah.
And reduce some of the fees and
Right.
that kind of thing.
So maybe we could even if we do a survey amongst our departments, just for everybody to say what they're using. Because I'm definitely going to bring this back up when we get to the legislative part and budget cuts for us. So if we could definitely have those types of situations, it would definitely save us some of the money that we're spending right now.
Sure.
And then do a comparison to what our sister cities are using, right? They maybe have something that we can leverage that costs us a little bit less, that we are not even aware of.
That's right.
They may be using something through, what is it, Civic Plus, or what is the software that we use for, I don't know. But at the end of the day, there may be opportunities there.
Right. Because it doesn't even have to be constant contact. It may be another subscription that we could get that you think is better.
And so we can certainly decrease the legislative budget, Gerald, if we find out what they're using and put it in your budget.
Oh, no, we're not talking about that. I'm not talking about decreasing.
I don't think we agreed to that.
You're making jokes now.
I don't think we agreed to that one. I'm just saying.
We got people to serve over here.
That was funny.
That was funny.
Cynthia and Sage, let's get ready.
We got a comical city manager over here.
So the transaction report, any additional questions? The subscriptions go on to the next page, so
Yeah.
that's
the interesting place right there.
And Jill, with all of the speaking of subscriptions, I guess residents, a lot of them are ditching the cable. So I don't know how CPTV 23 is faring or whatnot with everybody having these subscription services, but it'd be good if we could get a number of, I don't know if we could get a number of hits or who has subscriptions in the city of College Park, and make sure they don't give us the whole 30349, because you'll get half of the rest of Georgia if you ask it the wrong way. But it'd be good to know what the numbers are that the folks that have, because it's still with Infinity or Xfinity or Comcast.
Well, they're both.
the same thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're the same thing.
Well, I'd like to see what the subscription looks like in College Park.
To that point, there is another aspect that we had done a couple of years ago when we were working with another web developer. We actually had the TV channel streaming on our website, and we're seeking to restart that with the new rollout of the Cablecast company that we have, that is the new hardware. And by the way, with that new hardware, we're going to be able to reduce some of these subscriptions, because right now James will go home and collect, say, the council meeting, and he will go home and start promoting that back to the TV channel and putting it in the playlist, but he has to use one of our subscriptions. We won't have to use that anymore with Cablecast. It will actually go directly up to the cloud, and he can program it from the cloud.
Fantastic.
So that's, but to your point, I wanted to, that was a good point because it's a question that I've been asking myself too, to get with Comcast. I have a meeting scheduled, well, it's not scheduled yet, but I've been doing outreach to get together with them for a number of reasons, primarily to get with our government contact.
Okay.
So that we can look at some other things that they might do for the TV channel, but also to get them to look at the TVs that might be malfunctioning here with the boxes inside city limit, but city hall. Gosh, to your point, city limits. Don't go 30349.
Well, let's make sure. I just want to make sure I want to get an accurate number of.
I'll see what they can do.
That way we
and
know how many of us are watching with the.
Right.
I mean, most of us we're apartments, so it'd be easy to, I guess, count those because they're going to be the same.
Well, I'll put them to work,
address.
Comcast, to give us some numbers
I like
on that viewership.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Any questions on the supporting documentation?
This is why that one zip code would help, right?
Yeah, we got to follow up on that. Yeah, we got to jump back on that. That'd be big.
Thank you very much, Mr. Walker.
Gerald, thank you so much for all that you and your team do. We appreciate you.
We're gonna try to do better this upcoming year.
All right, you said it.
Next up is HR.
Hello.
Good evening, Ms. Gilbert. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are y'all?
Excellent.
Awesome. Doing well.
Questions on page 1 of HR.
Consultant fees. That's a big number. That's some of your staff? Or
Consultant?
Yeah.
That's gonna include the brokerage services for healthcare.
That's
for
on page
risk.
2, right? Yeah.
Oh.
I have a question on page one.
Healthcare risk, EAP.
Actually, I don't.
That's what those consultant fees are covering.
Okay. So where's your staff at? I guess.
It's on page 1.
Oh, I'm sorry. I jumped to. I'm on number 2 already. I'm jumping too fast. Yeah. Okay.
I do have a, just number 6230. You didn't put anything for, you didn't request anything for conventions or meetings, but I see the city manager did. Was that?
It was an oversight.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right.
Not me.
Because I know you got something to go to.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Cool beans. I was just like, did he force your hand?
No.
All right. That's fine. That's all. Okay.
Any other questions on page 1?
Krista, I'd like to get, I guess we all like to get I usually ask you for a vacancy list every single year.
She sent
have
it.
it.
She sent it today.
Okay.
We got it as an email.
We did,
so
we got it? Oh, good, good.
Yeah.
we have it.
Thank you.
Thank you, first of
Krista.
all. Thank you for
You're
doing
welcome.
that.
You're welcome.
Length of the vacancy on there? You got
I'm
that in
sorry.
there? The length of the vacancy? Is that in the
I still got
box?
it on my
I
phone.
don't have the length.
Okay.
I just put what positions were vacant.
Okay, all right, well, it's good, we got that. Take a look at that.
Questions on page 2? Moving on to the transaction report. Questions on page 1? Page 2? Page 3.
So, page 3 was certainly a topic of discussion.
It was.
The
53, 7150.
53, 71, 50.
That was in before we talked about it. We already had put that in there, but we are no longer sending flowers out of this fund. So now the departments are gathering money on their own. If someone passes, or even if we do it, it can go across whichever department. We're taking up money and we're buying flowers.
Okay, I did have a suggestion on that, and I'm glad you still have that line item, because according, the way we can do this properly is simply take that amount, contract out to a nonprofit organization that can provide that service. So I'm glad that that's still there, because that is an option that we can look at. I do still feel that it's a good idea for the city to, for our employees to know that the city is looking out for them. So that's my suggestion. I mean, since we still have the money in there. I mean, other departments could still do what they want to do individually, but there is an option there. We just have to do it the right way. Right.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think we want to continue to send flowers. We just gotta
Just have-
use the proper channel to do it. So yeah.
Yeah, certainly became the poster child for that.
And thank you for taking that on.
The real, right, and the real conversation is that to have an employee working for us for 15 years, 15, 20 years, and for that individual to still be in a position where they are struggling and cannot bury their deceased child, that's the real problem.
That's the real problem.
Yeah.
That's the real problem.
That's the real problem.
And that's the conversation that we really should be having.
Yep.
Like, what is it that we're paying our employees where they have to, or why is it that they have to seek additional employment or be in a position where they cannot bury their deceased loved one?
Well, our lowest paid workers, and we've talked about this, they get the short end of the stick. The last comp study shortened them out because they were here fewer years. Well, if you're getting paid the least, you're not going to be here very long. Those that get paid more are here more years, and the comp study skewed towards those that were here more years as opposed to those that get paid the least amount of money. So we got up to 1950. I'd like to see us get up to $20 an hour. I think there are probably very few employees that are there at that level anyhow, but I still want to work towards that so that we have a decent floor. So some of that type of stuff can happen, but we got to look at this foundation thing. And,
Yeah, because, 1950, we're good. We made some movement, but even 1950 is not a livable wage.
I know.
It's
Well,
just
I was trying to get us to 20.
unacceptable.
I was trying to get us to 20 last year. We almost got there, and I want to give it a try this year if we can. I know we were looking at a raise of some sort if we could do something, but if we could do a floor of 20, that would at least get the least paid, at least.
Understood.
If we could start there.
Yeah.
And again, I don't worry about pay compression at that low level. No, I don't think that's even an issue for anybody. So
I have a question and a comment on this for Miss Hammond and Krista, because you sent us this information earlier today. We currently are paying $31,660,759.50 in salaries to our employees. What you sent us today, which I'm very grateful for, thank you so much for that. You have, in your report, you have a 2% increase, a 3% increase, and a 5% increase. So, and I think this is a good segue to this conversation. So the question for you, Ms. Hammond, is when we are looking at the balanced budget right now, does the balanced budget include the 2% 3%, 5%, or any increase at all for our employees?
The budget actually includes a 4% increase.
Thank God.
Okay, because so that means we're only looking for us to go from 31 million to a 4% increase would still only be maybe an extra $1 million a year.
Correct.
Okay.
But the other question is, will that get us to a $20 per hour floor?
No.
We're probably gonna have to put we're probably going to have to put some controls in place where if we did the 4%, salaries at a certain level or higher.
Well, even if it's 3% and you get everybody to 20, that'll be better where at least those at the bottom have a little more equity.
But Councilman Khan, keep in mind that if Cynthia said that she put the COLA into the budget on top of the comp study, it will get the employees where they need to be.
I just heard 4%. Is it 4% plus something else?
No.
Well, we're in the process of working on the comp study.
Right.
So
4% on top of what the comp study is going to say for that particular job and the years and all that, it's going to take them way past 20 an hour.
I just want to make sure the last comp
That makes
study
sense.
was skewed. It was based on tenure, and the lowest paid folks generally have the least amount of tenure.
But we have the opportunity because
I don't want to
it may be
that
the
same
comp study's
formula.
already been ordered, correct?
It's in the process.
It's in the
All right,
process.
all right. So when it
Issue is the
comes
formula.
right, but when
I
it
don't
comes
think it's
back,
the formula.
when it comes back, we will be able to look at the data that comes back
Yes.
and make decisions on what direction we want to go in.
Based on the
Just because
data.
just because the comp study comes back and tells us to do X, Y, Z does not mean that we have to do it.
That's correct.
And Krista, we're going to get some formula options for how it is because we only got presented with one the last time. So I would like to see an option that makes sure that the least paid folks have some type of an advantage here where they can at least get up to a minimum of $20 an hour. So the last comp study did not consider that enough.
The comp study that we're currently working on now, he's gonna send several options that you will be able to look at to say, with finance director, with you all, you'll be able to see if we take study one, it might put us up to 10%. If we take study two, it might put us up to 15. He's gonna give us several options.
Okay, well, just bring, if you can, and you might want to write this down, just bring back one option that brings the least paid up to $20 an hour. Bring back one option.
Councilman Carn, I still would like
to
to
see one that does that.
So-
I'd like to see several options.
Yeah,
I wanna see several too.
so if I could speak
I'd
here,
just like that to be one of them.
from the city manager's office, we're going to bring back several options.
I think
correct.
I think this is. I think when we get it, we should have a robust workshop discussion that doesn't include anything else but this discussion.
So in the meantime, I would like for us to do some policy around salary administration.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is if we have employees that we have given, I'm just, ad-libbing here for a minute, merit. If there has been a class of employees or some that have received some type of boost in their salary within the past year, and we're looking at doing some type of raise or what have you, but they got something for performance, we cannot double up on the money. Does that make sense?
It does.
All right. So, we need to put some type of policy in place to control some of these lifts where there are individuals who may be getting 2 and 3 bumps versus those who are not getting anything. That makes sense?
It does.
Okay.
And most of those, excuse me, Councilwoman McKesson, and most of those who not get anything will be those people who you all think are already making too much. And that's not necessarily true. The comp study is going to talk about where you are based on industry standards, how long you've been here, the education, all of those things play a part.
And the reason I'm definitely pro for the study is because, yes, I would like to see every employee paid over $20 an hour. However, when we decided to raise it the last time, there was still a problem because just taking everyone up, you ended up having supervisors, specifically in public works. We really had issues because now
That's
you
true.
had a supervisor making maybe 50 cents more than the people that they were supervising. And that's why we can't just do a blanket,
That's right.
everybody
That's
gets
right.
$20 an hour without looking at what's going to happen to the person that's right above them and the person above them. So
Pay compression.
The
agree.
easiest way to fix all of that is for not only for us to have the salary administration, but also for us to have a step plan.
Exactly.
Okay,
Kristen,
a
you've been
step
talking
plan.
about that.
step
A step plan is, you know, kind of like what they do in education, what they do in
Aviation.
government, right? We need to put in
right.
place a step plan, which means that if you're between, you know, you walk in the door, you're never going to make the same amount of money as your
Somebody that's
supervisor
been there for
because
4
they've
years.
already been here
Right.
for however many years and they're stepping up.
Correct.
So we need to do that, but that's all a part of that salary administration that I mentioned a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
May I ask Ms. Gilbert? Obviously, the comp study is not necessarily suited or slated to look at salary administration, but is that something that we might be able to do in a phase 2 after that study is complete?
No,
Can we do it now?
we can do
Can we
the
do it now?
salary administration
Is there anything we can't do it now?
without
Absolutely.
even without the actual compensation plan, right?
We
Or the
can,
compensation
yeah.
study.
No, we can. We absolutely
right?
can.
So I'm suggesting that we go ahead and do that before the study comes back.
Good idea.
I agree.
Well, and that way, when,
Yeah.
that
Might
way,
as well.
right, when the study comes back, everything will be in place and we'll get a quicker or faster understanding of how much money we need.
Also,
Makes sense.
Krista, bring back, and I'd like to see that, I guess, next week. Give me your estimated number of staff members that are actually below 20 an hour. And what would be your guesstimation?
not very many.
See, this, you know, if
About
it's
20, you said?
below 20.
It's really only the new, if they're coming in the door,
The
the
1950.
new
Right.
people.
So-
Everyone else was raised to $20.
So we're talking less than 40 people probably,
Yes.
right? That's what I would like us to at least have that flow in. So whatever the formulas are, I think it's not a big bar to see that happen, if possible. If possible.
Councilman Carter, I just want to caution again that even with that, you can't just say I'm going to give those 40 people $20. You have to look at, this is why we're talking about steps.
Like she said. we'll
Right,
use the
so
steps,
it
Okay.
we want to do that, but then we also going to have to be mindful of who there's the rest of the members of their
Right,
department.
and how close they are to the
Yeah.
next tier. But, you know, maybe they're a little further off than we think. So, I mean, you never know.
And that was the problem when we did it last time.
Mm-hmm.
We have 5 classes all in the same range.
That's right.
So you got 5 classes of people. So you got the laborer, you have the supervisor, you have
Superintendent.
they're all in the same class. So everybody's making $19.50, $20.
Do we need fewer
So
classes, or do we can't adjust that ever, can we? Or?
Well, it's
change
not
the
that we
range of the
need fewer
classes.
classes, we just need to make sure the steps are correct. Because right now, you got everybody in the same amount of money. So everybody's having an issue because they've been here 20 years, and then the person that come in 1 year is making the exact same thing. So that is the problem that we're having.
So we have to find a way to alleviate the compression issues.
Exactly.
Right,
exactly.
Yes.
And
We have a very bad compression problem.
Yes. And the problem is, and just, because I'm always going to support our employees, is that you have some people that are fantastic and they've been here for years.
Correct.
And it's like and we're getting some great new people, but it's a slap in the face for that employee that's been with us all these years to see that happen.
True, and that's why the comp study is gonna fix some of that.
Yep.
Okay.
I really think it will.
Yep.
It will fix it.
Right.
But we can still do this policy, but I think the comp study is going to correct all the issues that we're having.
Yeah, it will,
Good.
but we definitely need that
We need
administration
administration, step
policy in place and the step plan in place.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
it's been a great night, everybody.
That's good. Very
And
productive.
thank you
We
as
are-
well, Ms.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
We are adjourned at
and
8:33
your amazing
p.m.
team.
All right.
You're welcome.
And all that you
Thank
do
you.
for our city.
And thank you for this information.
Yes.
It was
Thank
very
you.
helpful.
You're
Very
Yeah.
helpful.